What's good, everybody? So we're taking a look at this video right here. Your attention span is ruining gaming. We live in a world where people want immediate dopamine hits. We want to play games that instantly reward us and fill us with that gratification. So we're going to take a look at this video by Juniper Dev, someone who I've never seen nor watched a video from before. And we're going to see what exactly is up with our attention span and gaming. Let's go.
Another year of college is over, guys, so I came home jolly as can be. I waddled over to my bedroom, I booted up a game that I'd been waiting forever to play, and
I've said this before, I would love a Steam Deck someday. I love my Switch. I have an OLED Switch, which I use, but having a Steam Deck where I could play a bigger variety of games would be absolutely cool. If they made a new version, I would absolutely get one because they are pioneers right now in portable technology.
I was bored within the first 5 minutes. But this isn't a boring game at all. It's a beloved game. I'm constantly hearing about how fun it is and how beautiful it is. So I can say with full confidence that this is a me problem. This is literally an attention span skill issue. Because well-designed games are not built to cater to a short attention span. They aren't built for constant novelty. They're built to reward curiosity and patience and perseverance. Of course, there still needs to be reward and we need to feel incentivized to keep playing, but in a way that complements our psychology, not manipulate it. See, a well-designed game is able to build just enough resistance and slow things down enough to keep you curious, but not so much so to where even someone with a healthy attention span would get bored. I think of it as like a friction zone, and removing—
Do you know what it's kind of like it reminds me of? You know comedians where they do stand-up? There's like a golden rule of you should have like a set number of jokes that happen per minute. So you're constantly keeping people entertained and laughing, but you're progressing along like a story, or you're progressing along a bit. It's kind of the same thing with video games, right? You want to give people just enough dopamine per like every 5-10 minutes to be like, ooh, I want to keep going. I want to keep going. Sometimes that manifests in different ways. Sometimes it's a fun puzzle. Sometimes you might enjoy the platforming, and sometimes it's the progression of a story that keeps you around. So you have to have a mix of at least one of those things to keep that dopamine rush coming from. And did you just do a fun boss battle? Have you just come to a really cool cutscene that's keeping you around? There has to be something that you're providing every couple of minutes.
That friction zone is the objective of literally every other type of media in our lives right now. We're talking streaming platforms, social media, because the job is simple. Keep you watching. That means friction is the enemy because it's a risk. It's something that gives you a reason to potentially stop staring at your screen like a monkey. So instead, we're given an infinite scroll, bright colors, loud hooks. The algorithm rewards things that can entertain you for as long as possible. But games don't care. It's considered good game design when a game doesn't dump you with all the player's abilities at the start. Delayed gratification, right? You have to go and explore. You have to unlock things over time. The same goes for well-designed and well-paced tutorials. Good tutorials don't throw everything immediately in your hands. They slowly and intentionally show instead of tell so that you can go experiment and oftentimes observe and mirror something in your environment. You could also look at the design.
Platformers are the best for that. Platformers are the best for that because a game like Hollow Knight, or a game like, if you've played it, like Ori and the Blind Forest, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, one of my favorite games. Platformers, you are constantly gaining new abilities until the very end of like the game, like the last like 10 minutes. It never stops. You are always getting a new ability, and I love those kind of games. Or like, you know, you're constantly leveling up a skill tree, getting new powers every single time. It's fun. It's nice. There's always a progression in character building.
Design that goes into level design, or more broadly, level progression. The first world in any Super Mario game is usually pretty easy, but the further you go, the harder it gets and the more rewarding the challenge becomes and the more fun it feels. After a certain point, you're given twists on old mechanics, and you have to combine things in ways that you haven't before. That kind of design requires pacing, and pacing respects the player's ability to learn and grow. It doesn't demand your attention, because it can't. That would make it an objectively bad game by any design metric. That's what I'm saying makes games so powerful as a medium in today's day and age, where attention is everything. That's why I think games are a practice of attention and why they can actually improve your attention span. Because after 20 minutes of playing Animal Well, I wasn't still playing because my attention was being constantly fought for, but because the experience was genuinely immersive and thought-provoking and brave enough to slow down. Because the modern internet wants you distracted, and tracked, and monetized. Which is why I'd like to introduce you to my friend here, NordVPN.
NordVPN! W sponsor plug. W sponsor plug. Although, I will say, if you're playing a game and you're having the issue where, like, you're becoming distracted and you're saying it's a you issue, but then you go and play another game that doesn't, like, you're not distracted from playing and you keep playing, I'd actually argue that maybe it isn't so much of a you issue as you might think. Is that a hot take? If you're playing one game and suddenly you're feeling not bored but you're distracted, but you play another game and you're not, I don't think that's a you issue necessarily. Maybe it could just be maybe the game just isn't maybe for you. It really depends, right? I think both could be true. Both could be true.
VPN, she tracks available. That's to make sure I have to be able to VPN AI.com. That's really, which I really want to talk about in regards to attention span.
Oh my god, Portal!
Puzzle games are probably one of the most engaging ways to retrain your brain because they require active, conscious thought and stillness. You got to be able to sit and think because you are thinking critically, you're experimenting, maybe working with other people. And when you solve whatever level or puzzle you're working on, you feel proud at your own focus and effort. You practiced a skill and you saw the fruit of it. You're not rewarded for consuming, but for thinking, for using that little noggin, no matter how small it is. That wouldn't work if you got instant answers. Literally, puzzle games that are too easy are not fun for anyone. Except for maybe me, because they make me feel smart. Some of my favorite memories involve playing through co-op puzzle games with friends during COVID.
Same.
We're talking Portal, Pico Park, We Were Here, Escape Simulator, heck, even chess, which I am abominably bad at, but I was initially very bored whenever I'd play it. And not bored in a, oh, chess just isn't really my type of thing way, but in a, oh my goodness, I'm playing this and I can feel my brain physically reaching for stimulation, even though I'm objectively enjoying what I'm doing type of way. So at one point, what I did was I moved the location of the Instagram app on my phone and replaced it with the chess app. So
just do what I do and don't use Instagram. My kryptonite is Twitter. I can't stop using Twitter. I can't stop. Oh.
That way, anytime I went on my phone and I was in brain rot autopilot monkey mode, I would.
It's a good idea though. I used to have an app. I forgot what it was called. I had it like a number of years ago while I was doing my A-levels, which is, oh my god, almost 10 years ago. Holy shit, I'm getting old. It would be an app on my phone that it would lock my phone for me. And if the longer that I didn't touch my phone, it would like grow trees. It would grow different kind of trees and plants, and the longer I left my phone, the better like my quote unquote garden would look. And it tried to stop me from using my phone when I was like busy. And that was kind of cool for a while. But then I just was like, nah, I'm over it now. I went back on my phone. But yeah, no, in this day and age, we have so like shorts have like ruined our brains. Like absolutely.
I would accidentally open the chess app instead of going to Instagram Reels. And whenever that would happen, I would start a game. So over time, I ended up cutting down on the amount of time I spent on short form media. And I actually really enjoy chess now, and I could literally feel the muscles of thought forming as I did this and slowly started realizing my own patterns. I still suck, and I'm still humbled every time I play against AI Mr. Beast. Or XQC, God bless. But it's
Have you guys played against AI Tectone? He's ass. He's so bad at the game.
It's cool, and it goes to kind of show that you do sometimes have to take the active initiative in retraining your brain sometimes. And that's why it kind of takes effort, sadly enough, for me, and maybe for you too, to play a new game for more than 5 minutes. Because subconsciously, it's a risk. We don't know if we're gonna get the same amount of dopamine from this new uncharted territory of a video game than we do from social media. All you know is that in this immediate second when you pick up this game, you don't feel that. So give up. But if you can troop it out and you can retrain your silly monkey brain, then you will get some of the most rewarding and fulfilling experiences possible. That's the case for most games, puzzle games, like I said, and also
this is starting to feel like just don't be silly and stupid and just play games. Hey, put down the TikTok and just play a goddamn game.
So narrative games. Just instead of trying to get portals in the right spot or fumbling around getting blocks in the right place, you're piecing together a story. And that requires active attention. You have to read, you have to remember.
Reading! These people should not play gacha games. Do not read.
The bar's on the floor if it's not clear enough, but you have to care and you have to pay attention to the subtle details. And then behold, you get some of the most emotionally rich and nuanced experiences that gaming can offer. Think about Disco Elysium, which for the record, I still have not played, please don't kill me, but I do know a good bit about it. There's no combat in this game exactly. There's no flashy sequences of fighting or action, but it's a lot of well put together and creative dialogue. Dialogue that branches in wildly different directions depending on what you remember and what you actively choose to store in your brain. It's not something that you can just mindlessly scroll through or like half pay attention to. And the more you invest your attention, the more it gives back to you and the more fulfilling the experience.
This is why I will not play Disco Elysium. I just don't want to read that much. I just don't want to read that much. Hey, that's just me. I know my limit and I know I'm absolutely brain rotted to shit. And I just know that I wouldn't be able to. I can't play games that require me to like sit and read for hours and hours. I just cannot do it.
It is. That's really what this
video is calling me out massively. I have the worst attention span.
All so far boils down to focus. Games demand focus in a way that is so beautifully different from everything else in our lives. Because you're not just watching something happen, you're actively responding to an environment. You're
like Baldur's Gate 3? No, I love Baldur's Gate.
Interacting with a system.
I love Baldur's Gate.
You're learning from your mistakes. You're immersing yourself in a world that you chose to put yourself in. You didn't just happen to passively scroll upon it. You're anticipating, you're growing, you're learning. You are holding the steering wheel. And then eventually, the game ends. And that's important. That's big. Generally, good narrative games or puzzle games or anything, they reach a concrete ending because their goal is not to keep you there playing for as long as possible. They give you an emotionally resonant moment. They give you something to think about that probably changes the way you see something in the world. And they let you appreciate that and they send you on your way. It's so easy with everything else to just like
Fortnite on mobile? Oh.
Check out. It's so easy to scroll endlessly through social media, genuinely forever. It's so easy to keep swiping and somehow watch the entirety of Game of Thrones on YouTube Shorts. But games don't let you do that. They might pull you in with, you know, some pretty graphics, something engaging, something attention grabbing, but the rest depends on your conscious active presence. Look at older games where the whole game is active gameplay and you have to be focused the whole time to win. How something like Celeste builds up your tolerance for failure. How something like Animal Crossing teaches you how to show up.
I would really want to play Celeste at some point. I guess someone who likes platformers, I would love to try out Celeste.
Up consistently, how to slow down and notice small things. Games create space where attention feels natural again for so many people. They hand you systems and feedback loops and beautiful moments that you want to engage with. And in doing that, they have the ability to retrain your attention span. It still takes me a little longer than I'd care to admit to not become immediately bored 3 minutes into playing a new game, but I've started to see that feeling as a symptom rather than me or the game failing. It's me slowly detaching from the constant drip of stimulation.
I still think it could be both. I still think it's probably a game maybe just not for you and also attention. You know, maybe it is for you, but you need like a minute for it to grab you, and that's all. That could be the game. So it could be. I don't think it's just one particular thing. I don't think it's just one particular. Oh, you're too brain rotted, therefore fiction. I don't know. It's multiple things.
Stimulation that I've been spoon fed for years. I don't think everyone sees video games this way, which is sad, but I get it. I have scrolled TikTok. I have seen those mobile game ads. I have seen the people who are hired to promote these games fighting for their life to make it sound even remotely interesting.
It's so bad. Oh my, bro, there's one that's recently, there's like a mobile ad that's I keep seeing on YouTube on my phone, I have premium again now, so I kind of don't see it anymore. But it's like, oh my god, the red Gooner gang is gonna get me. Oh my god, they're after the Rizzler. It's like, oh my god, I can't. Why is this on my thing? Why it was literally saying the red Gooner gang is gonna get me. I mean, what? It's like, bro, why is this an ad? It's so bad. It's so bad.
All right, I'm multiplying, which is great because I need to kill all these little red men, and there's more of me to do it. It's scoring points. Now there's a lot more of me, which is better to shoot all these tires. It's great.
Frankly, I never knew it was possible to reskin the exact same endless runner game so many different ways. It's amazing. Because these mobile games abandon objectively good and well-respected design practices in favor of catering to an attention span, which games are not meant to cater towards, what you get is not a game. It's a product. At this point, your audience isn't even gamers because what you're making isn't optimized for depth, but for attention. And the metric for good games isn't attention, it's retention. There's a difference. These mobile games don't care if you enjoy your experience, really. They care that you opened the app, you watched an ad, maybe spent $5 and came back for your...
Yeah, they're games, but they are like the ADHD games, but they've always existed. Back in the days, Doodle Jump, Temple Run, the slope one, what is it called? The drive one, where like you had the car and then you had to do the slopey slide thing. Downhill Climber, what was it called? I forgot what it's called. They've always existed. Those games have always existed for the same reason. Like, I fucking, like, Cut the Rope was another little cool one. You know what I mean? Temple Run was fun. Bro, Temple Run was just fun. Jetpack Joyride. Yeah, all those. SSA's Tricky, bro. I just think that's a normal game. That's just a normal game. But SS Tricky was a fun-ass game, though. I don't know about Candy Crush, maybe. Maybe in the similar vein, too, yeah. It's all the same thing. They've always existed. Yeah, Hill Climb Racing, that's it. All these games have always existed since mobile phones had that capability. It's just, I don't know, there's just a lot more of them now, and it's a lot easier for people to make and rehash games, but that we just see them everywhere.
Daily reward. And unfortunately, the bad eggs here really do infect society's whole notion of what gaming is. The most loud, the most visible and advertised examples of mobile games, which is also the biggest market for gaming globally, by the way, are these products, not even games, they're products. It's sad, but it's completely logical why so many people have a misunderstanding of what gaming is and what it's becoming. The entire term mobile gaming.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree that people misunderstand what gaming is because of mobile games. I think most people know that mobile gaming, to those standards, is not the same as like picking up like Expedition 33. You know what I mean? I think most people know the difference. I don't think that's misunderstood or anything like that. I don't know.
Has been completely hijacked by these brain rot mobile games. It used to mean, oh, portable game.
For older people, at least. But okay, but when we say older people, we're going to be talking about people who are in their like 60s and 70s, right? People in their 60s and 70s, because people like younger than that know what quote unquote normal games are. They've played them themselves at this point, right? The last like say like 30, 40 years of like gaming, like those people are going to be like 50, you know? So I don't think, yes, misunderstood to maybe like OAPs, but I don't think it's like a genuinely misunderstood what a real game is.
Gaming, that's really cool. Look at how we can condense the artistry and entertainment of games in such an accessible format. But now we get this, whatever this is. But anyway, I'm not just worried because I think these games are infecting the societal view of gaming, but because I think they're setting a very dangerous trend for gaming. Right now, games are so great because they're not trying to satisfy your goldfish attention span. That's been like the whole point of the video, right? They're built in so many ways that do not...
It's a lot of things. Attention, but also big corporate in suits that are looking for the best way to monetize their games. And they want to, you know, make you launch and log into their games as often as possible to expose you to their shops as often as possible so you buy things. That's where a lot of games are going. That's what the big corporate is. How can we monetize our games the best? That's what they're focusing on more of these days more than anything. Attention, yes, because they want your attention to come back and keep playing. But, you know, also it's the monetization.
Cater to that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they start to. My fear is that they'll start to design for the distracted player. Look at like auto combat systems in RPGs, for example. Instead of playing through a fight, you can click a button and then the system will do it for you and do the gameplay. So it kind of becomes a
Hawkeye Star Rail. Ooh.
battle of stats and numbers rather than interaction and player choice. Systems like that aren't inherently bad, and I can't say that I know a ton about them, but they do ultimately distance games from what they are and what makes them unique as a medium, which is all about choice and thought and power and focus. So it is kind of sad to see this, but I don't think we're screwed by any means. I've been a little bit pessimistic, but I don't think that the future of gaming is just gonna crash and burn. We still have a plethora of amazing, soul-filled games out there, and more that are being
That's why Honkai Star Rail, they have that auto combat gameplay, but that's why they say they pride themselves on their story, and where they try and make their story so good and immersive, because that's really the only thing they have as a game at that point, and even that fucking sucks. Sound even ruined that, so what do they have?
developed every day that are gonna keep our monkey brains chugging along for at least a little bit longer. And your girl will finish Animal well, okay? Mark my words. That's all that I have to talk about today. It's a bit more serious, and I kind of locked in a little more than I usually do on these videos. But regardless, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
That was a nice video. That was a nice video. I liked it. I'm gonna subscribe and I'm gonna like. That was really cool. That was a cool video. I appreciate it. Yeah, attention span. I don't know if it's ruining gaming, because I truly think when a game comes out that is standout, for example, Expedition 33, Clair Obscur, comes out and kind of breaks the mold, people recognize it and people get locked in, and all that could go to shit, right? The attention span stuff, the monetization, all that out the window, and we just have a good ass game, right? We just have a good ass game. So I don't think it's like over for gaming, or like I don't think it is ruining gaming, because when those standout games come out, people really appreciate them. And I think it's time for the people in the suits and in the corpa to notice that and be like, actually, if we just make a good game, it will be successful and people will like it. That's how I feel. So I appreciate you. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.
Twitch.tv/Captain Cabinetz, Captain Cabinetz.